Have you ever wondered why Waitangi Day holds such significance for New Zealanders? Well, let's unravel this together. Celebrated annually on February 6th, Waitangi Day is not just a day off work or a reason for a Barbie. It's a deep-rooted celebration of the signing of the Treaty of Waitangi in 1840. This historic treaty, a pact between the Maori chiefs and the British Crown, laid the groundwork for the New Zealand we know today. It's a day of reflection, a day to honor the rich cultural heritage of the Maori, the indigenous people of New Zealand. It's a day that symbolizes partnership, unity, and a shared journey towards understanding and respect between Maori and non-Maori communities. As we delve into the essence of Waitangi Day, we'll explore its key principles, the ongoing discussions, and the vibrant celebrations that mark this special occasion. So, let's take a journey back in time to understand the events leading up to this historic day. Before we delve into the treaty itself, we need to understand the world before it, the arrival of early European settlers and their interactions with Maori communities. In the early 19th century, New Zealand was a land of diverse Maori tribes, each with its unique customs, language, and traditions. These tribes lived in harmony with their surroundings, guided by a deep respect for the land and its resources. Around this time, European settlers began to arrive on the shores of New Zealand. Many were whalers, sealers, and traders, drawn by the promise of rich resources and the allure of uncharted territories. Others were missionaries, eager to spread their faith and teachings. From the onset, the relationship between the Maori and the settlers was complex. The Maori, fascinated by the newcomers and their goods, welcomed them into their communities. They traded food, flax, and timber for muskets, metal tools, and textiles. This exchange marked the beginning of a significant cultural and economic shift. However, the settlers didn't understand the Maori way of life, their customs, and their relationship with the land. They saw the land as a commodity to be bought, sold, and owned. But for the Maori, the land was a living entity, a source of life, identity, and spiritual connection. This fundamental misunderstanding led to conflicts and tensions. The settlers' arrival also brought unfamiliar diseases, against which the Maori had no immunity. These diseases ravaged Maori communities, causing immense suffering and loss. The escalating disputes over land, combined with the devastating impact of new diseases, led to confrontations and wars. The Maori, equipped with newly acquired muskets, fiercely defended their lands and their rights. The settlers, on the other hand, struggled to establish their foothold and control. These early confrontations and misunderstandings set the stage for the necessity of a treaty that would define the terms of engagement between the Maori and the settlers, provide a framework for peaceful coexistence, and lay the foundation for the nation that New Zealand would become. The rising tensions and the need for a structured relationship gave birth to the idea of the Treaty of Waitangi. The crafting of this momentous document was a delicate process, one that aimed to strike a balance between the rights of the indigenous Maori people and the interests of the British Crown. At the heart of the treaty were several key terms. First, sovereignty. This meant that the Maori ceded governance to the British Crown, allowing it to establish a government in New Zealand. However, this didn't mean that the Maori lost all their rights. Quite the contrary. The term kawanatanga, often translated as governorship or governance, represented the authority granted to the crown. Yet alongside this, the term rangatiratanga was of equal importance. This referred to Maori chieftainship and control over their lands, resources, and affairs. The treaty aimed to protect these rights, assuring the Maori of full and undisturbed possession of their lands unless they chose to sell or deal with the crown. Another term that emerged during the crafting of the treaty was tino rangatiratanga. This concept of absolute chieftainship or self-determination emphasized Maori authority over their own affairs. It was a promise of autonomy within the framework of the new governance. Lastly, protection. The Crown committed to protecting Maori rights and interests, ensuring fair treatment and justice. This was a promise of security, a safeguard against the exploitation and injustices that often accompanied colonial rule. These terms, carefully chosen and incorporated into the treaty, aim to establish a cooperative framework between the Maori and the Crown. They were designed to foster a partnership, a shared journey towards a united New Zealand. Yet, as we'll discover, interpretations and understandings of these terms have been subject to ongoing discussion and debate. With these terms, the stage was set for the signing of the treaty. But as we'll see in the next scene, the signing was just the beginning of a complex and ongoing journey towards unity and understanding. February 6, 1840, marked a historic day as the Treaty of Waitangi was signed. This monumental event unfolded in the Bay of Islands, where representatives of the British Crown and over 40 Maori chiefs congregated to forge a new path for New Zealand. The air was thick with anticipation as the treaty was presented. The document, written in both English and Maori, outlined the terms of the relationship between the Maori and the Crown. It was a delicate dance of diplomacy, a balancing act of interests, and a commitment to partnership. The Maori chiefs, each representing their respective tribes, reviewed the treaty. The concept of rangatira, or chieftainship, was central to their concerns. The treaty assured them of their control over their lands, resources, and affairs, a promise encapsulated in the term full and undisturbed possession. The British representatives, on the other hand, were eager to establish governance, or kawanatanga, in New Zealand. They sought the Maoris' acceptance of the Crown's sovereignty, promising in return their commitment to protection, ensuring fair treatment and justice for the Maori people. The signing of the treaty was a significant moment, a blending of two worlds. Each signature, each mark made on the parchment, signified a step towards unity, a hope for peaceful coexistence. There was a sense of optimism, a belief that this agreement would pave the way for a future built on mutual respect and understanding. However, the treaty was more than a mere contract. It was, and still is, a living document, a testament to New Zealand's unique cultural heritage. It underlines the value of Tino Rangatira, the principle of absolute chieftainship or self-determination, emphasizing Maori authority over their own affairs. And thus, the Treaty of Waitangi was born, forever changing the course of New Zealand's history. This historic day remains etched in the heart of the nation, a reminder of the journey towards unity, the challenges faced, and the ongoing commitment to honor the spirit of the treaty. The signing of the treaty was just the beginning of a long journey towards unity and understanding. After the ink dried on the Treaty of Waitangi, the journey towards unity was far from over. In fact, it was fraught with challenges and conflicts. Discrepancies in the Māori and English versions of the treaty led to misunderstandings. The Maori believed they were retaining their sovereignty, while the Crown interpreted the treaty as ceding complete authority. This created tension and led to the New Zealand Wars in the mid-19th century, a series of armed conflicts that were a harrowing time for the young nation. In the aftermath, the land was scarred, but the spirit of the treaty endured. The principles of partnership, participation, and protection became a beacon, guiding the nation on its path towards unity. Next scene, the signing was just the beginning of a complex and ongoing journey towards unity and understanding. February 6, 1840, marked a historic day as the Treaty of Waitangi was signed. This monumental event unfolded in the Bay of Islands, where representatives of the British Crown and over 40 Maori chiefs congregated to forge a new path for New Zealand. The air was thick with anticipation as the treaty was presented. The document, written in both English and Maori, outlined the terms of the relationship between the Maori and the Crown. It was a delicate dance of diplomacy, a balancing act of interests, and a commitment to partnership. The Maori chiefs, each representing their respective tribes, reviewed the treaty.